In this video, we'll be looking at section 3.1, finding zeros using the quadratic formula. And our essential question will be, how do I use the quadratic formula to find zeros? So what we're looking at is when it's just difficult to find zeros, because the equation's just too hard to factor or very difficult to work with. So when in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c y equals, we can use the quadratic formula to find the zeros, or x-intercepts. Here's the quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So say we're looking at the equation y equals 2x squared minus 8x minus 3.7. Well, this would be incredibly difficult to factor using the AC method. If we try to draw our giant X and multiply our A and our C and find what multiplies to 7.4 and adds to negative 8, that would just be really difficult to find. So instead what we can do is plug our A, B, and C values into the quadratic formula, and then we'll be able to get these kind of weirder or like decimal kind of zeros. So the first thing we want to do is identify our A, B, and C. A equals 2, B equals negative 8, and C equals negative 3.7. Step 1 will be set the equation equal to 0. So we'll have 0 equals 2x squared minus 8x minus 3.7. Step 2, plug A, B, and C into the quadratic formula. So I'm just going to plug into this formula. So I'm going to say x equals negative, b is negative 8, plus or minus the square root b squared, negative 8 squared, minus 4 times a times c, negative 3.7. And then I'll take all that and divide it by 2 times a, which is 2. So I just plugged in all of our values, our a, b, and c, into this formula up here. So negative b, negative 8, plus or minus square root, b squared, so I did negative 8 squared, minus 4 times a times c, then all of that over 2a. And now we simplify. We get x equals negative 8 becomes positive 8, plus or minus square root, negative 8 squared is 64. 4 times 2 times 3.7, negative 4 times 2 times 3, negative 3.7. So I'm doing this piece right here. So I'll say negative 4 times 2 times negative 3.7 equals 29.6. So it's positive 29.6 all over 2 times 2 is 4. Now I'll add these together, and I have 64 plus 29.6 equals 93.6. So we have 8 plus or minus the square root of 93.6 over 4. Now to get my approximate, so this is an exact answer. And then to approximate, we'll find the square root of 93.6. So I'll take the square root of 93.6, and we're going to, let's call it 9.7. So I have x equals 8 plus 9.7 divided by 4, and I have x equals 8 minus 9.7 divided by 4. That's what this plus or minus is doing. It's saying that we can do 8 plus the square root, and then we can do 8 minus the square root. Then we simplify each one of those. So I'll go 8 plus 9.7, then I'll divide that by 4, and I get x equals 4.4. And then I'll do 8 minus 9.7, 8 minus 9.7 divided by 4, and I get x equals negative 0.4. There we go. And that's how we can use the quadratic formula to help us find zeros, my x-intercepts, 4.4 and negative 0.4, when our equations are a little more complicated to work with. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.